we are I'm a Big Fan. I'm Jel.
And I'm Nade, and today we are doing a 3-movie review. I chose 3 movies for myself and Jel to watch, and they all have different reasons for why I chose to watch it. One of them is because somebody told me to watch it, one is because I saw it randomly, and the other one is one that we watched in the past that we wanted to revisit today.
So at the end of the video, we're gonna do a ranking scale. Our ranking is from good, bad, and boba. Boba being that we really like the movie. So here are the movies that we watched.
Movie number 1, Snowpiercer. So I have the summary right here. It says, in a future where a failed climate change experiment has killed all life except for the lucky few who boarded the Snowpiercer, a train that travels around the globe, a new class system emerges.
So this is technically my second time watching Snowpiercer, but the first time was like a long time ago, so I don't really remember. But yeah, the Chris Evans. That's my first note. Our boy Chris Evans. I honestly love when I see Chris Evans in something that is not Captain America. So every time I see him in movies that are not Captain America, I get so excited. So
no, yeah, I feel that. I mean, I feel like with Marvel actors, it's so easy to just remember them from that because it's such a big franchise, and like that's the only movies that they're really putting out. So just in general, I also agree with that. You know, you respect that they are good actors. They're not just you know, typecast as superheroes.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I agree. He was really good in this, and I honestly was like forgetting that it was him, you know, just because it was like I pretty much got like really into the world. It was good.
Yeah, it was, with this movie, it was very easy to get into what like the setting is and like the world that they're in as the characters and stuff. And I think it's also because of how visually like stunning it is, how from the grime to like the cleanness of like the last part of the train and stuff. So I think that was like a really good big plus for me. But I want to say this movie, out of like all of the movies I have watched from Bong Joon-ho, that this is not like my favorite though.
I mean, this is only, so the reason why I chose to watch this movie is because, you know, you and other people have been saying like, oh, if you want to watch more Bong Joon-ho movies, because of Parasite, right? That was the only one that I had watched before. And they said, and Snowpiercer was like the very next movie that people bring up when they talk about Bong Joon-ho. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like I'll watch it. And maybe it's just like a hype thing, but it didn't live up to everyone else's hype. You know, they're like, wow, this is so good. It feels very similar to Parasite in that it's like a class movie, you know? Like
it's like eat the rich.
It discusses class, and it has that visual representation of poor versus rich, whereas this one is a horizontal visual representation, and Parasite was like vertical. So yeah, it felt really similar, and I guess I was expecting to see a different type of movie from Bong Joon-ho when people were talking about it. So it was good. Like, I think it's very well done, and it's smart, but it definitely wasn't like a big, like, I wasn't like, my heart did not pound, you know, like I wasn't
that
like,
much, just like Parasite and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, his other stuff is good, but yeah, this one wasn't like my top. I thought it was good, don't get me wrong, but it's not from my top of the list. Anyways, I put a couple things like from the notes when we were watching it. I just put like, Chris Evans doesn't think he's the leader trope. He's in denial that he's the leader, but he has all these characteristics of being a leader. You know?
I didn't really feel like that. I mean, I guess maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe I'm just dumb and wasn't watching it the same way.
But yeah, so I had that.
I get it.
I had that trope. I put a couple trope things that I noticed, but going down my list, I love the setting. I also repeated eat the rich. I put like, for some reason, like when I was watching this, I felt like it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz type thing. Like they're going on, because like they're going on a journey to like see this all being like character that they haven't seen all through the movie until the end and stuff. So like that's the vibe I was getting when we were watching it again. So but
I think I was mainly I was just questioning like the validity of everything. Like the one big thing is when they're like shooting each other from across, like the train is curving and they're like shooting at each other, and when I was like, how can they see each other? Like there's no clear windows. And another thing is like, why isn't that glass shattering? Like you're shooting through it multiple times, like it should have shattered by now. And whoever is in that same train car with you should be freezing if you guys are saying that the cold outside is freezing.
Even if
like,
it's a little bit,
like that should, I mean, I understand it's like really thick glass, but I don't know, I still didn't believe it.
Those are like one of like the, what's the word, just not continuity. Well, continuity errors a little bit, but like, what's the word?
I don't know.
But you know what I mean, right? Like, it's one of those things where like it's kind of like ex machina type stuff in a way. So, but yeah, I thought so too. At first, when I first watched it from memory, I thought that was cool. Like, oh yeah, the curve, they could shoot each other.
I was really convinced. This is like going all the way back to the beginning, but I was just really convinced that everyone was dead and it wasn't real. But
that like, I thought like, I think that makes sense because it seems very like, is this like real or not? Like, is this just like someone's like comatose dream or something? You can't even have dreams when you're comatose.
No, not that the whole thing was a dream, but just that the main guy was dead. And that because they really like drove it into your brain that this train is self-sustaining, like the engine will never die. And so I was like, oh, is it just going and there's like a room for that guy and nobody's in it? Like, what's his name? Wilford? Like, I was like, there's nobody actually there, and like everybody who's like close to the top doesn't want like the poor to know that there's no it's like there's no God,
there's no,
you know? So I thought they were all lying, and they're like, he's not really there, I don't know what you're talking about. But then clearly he was there. But yeah, anyway.
What I put next was, this is going back to the beginning, but like the person that can help them is a drug addict. That's what I put, like, that the person that can help them go through all this is a drug addict, and so that's like what.
But he wasn't a drug addict.
I guess so.
He wasn't.
Well, like
because
that the Chronos thing or whatever.
Chrono.
Yeah, Chrono.
But he wasn't really.
Well, that's not like, I'm not saying like he's a drug addict. I was thinking of like the trope of like the only person that can really help them is like going through something type thing, and that's what I compared it to drug addict. Like he continuously just wants, even though if that makes sense.
Like the daughter was a drug addict.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I mean, I guess he was huffing it also.
And like, so that's what I thought. I thought it was one of those things where like, oh, the only person that can help them is like battling some demons or like going through something, stuff like that. So.
Well, but they all are.
That's true.
I mean, true. Chris Evans, his character.
Oh yeah.
Wanted to eat a baby.
I know, but like I'm saying like at the moment type thing, that it's like pulling him back and forth type thing. I don't know, that's what I just wrote. Besides that, another thing that I wrote was cockroach blocks.
Disgusting.
Yeah. That was like one thing I was just like, ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. And like how Chris Evans was like, oh, don't draw about this and stuff. And I was just like, oh, he's just letting them eat it. And I'm just like, I mean, it makes, I mean, they're hungry, so it makes sense for him to can let them continuously eat it. But like, I don't know, it's just knowing that part was just like, ooh. But honestly, also, it reminded me of like grass jelly.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I wasn't really grossed out by it. I'm like, it doesn't look that bad.
I know, that's why at first when I didn't think of anything, and then when that part came, I was just like, I'm triggered. But yeah. So, but to keep going, the last of what I have is tattoos instead of words. Our boy, the one that was with, what's his name, the old guy, that young athletic ninja type guy with like all the tattoos on his body. Do you remember that character? I forgot his name. But yeah, but all his like tattoos were like words, and like whenever he would communicate, he would use the tattoos. And I was just like,
I only really was aware of that one time. Is that he doesn't talk?
He doesn't talk at all.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so I thought I put that down. I also put Tilda Swinton. I don't know if I'm saying that. Swinton. I honestly love her. I feel like she needs to do more comedy. I just think she is good with like the physical and like verbal like funniness that she can just produce, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you have else on your notes?
Nothing really. I guess my last one is that like, yeah, it was like really fucked up, but I really liked the when, what's his name again? Wilford said life needs chaos and horror.
Yeah.
Like his whole idea, well, I guess not idea, but his whole plan of like the way that his like society works, it's like super fucked up, and nobody should try to like strive for that type of life, but it does make sense that you need a little bit of good and bad to have a full life.
Yeah. Even
though that was like the extreme.
Yeah.
But I respected it, you know? So that, and then that's just my 2 cents.
My last point was, my last 2 points were like, he knows how people taste and everyone dead, question mark. So those are my 2 last points. Yeah, you know what, that
was weird. I was like, okay, so we're leaving it with these two
kids.
Yeah, like that was an interesting choice. Like, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
She relied on her dad for really a lot of stuff, and she's a drug addict. Like,
yeah. And like she was they're both train babies. They were born in the train, right? I remember that's what they were saying. So.
Yeah, so they have no idea what to do.
They have no idea. They were just like, here you go. You go now into the real world. Without your dad or your mom. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, did everyone really die? Because like the whole sequence of like the train falling, I was just like, I was waiting until like there was like one that didn't fall, but everyone, like all the train thing like kept on going. I was just like, whoa. And then also like Chris Evans' character, he didn't wake up. The dad character, I forgot his name, but he didn't wake up. So it's like, they really are alone. So that was my last points. But yeah. Okay, so the next movie we were talking about is American Assassin. Assassin. I will read the summary again.
After the death of his girlfriend at the hands of terrorists, Mitch Rapp is drawn into the world of counterterrorism, mentored by tough-as-nails former U.S. Navy SEAL Stan Hurley. This movie I chose because I came across it randomly on Netflix. I was like, oh, that's cool. Dylan O'Brien's in it. Let's watch it.
Yeah.
You want to
This
start?
one. So my first thing that I jot down was how it was in first perspective and then it went to third perspective. Him recording his girlfriend at the time, and like the one thing that really bugged me was that he kept on putting his phone underwater without like one of those special cases, and I was just like, every time I was like, oh my god, what is he doing? But then the phone would perfectly work after, and I'm just like,
Phones are waterproof now.
I mean, I
Waterproof.
guess. But you know, that's what I thought in the beginning. I also thought that this is the typical revenge story, that a woman has to die trope for the hero to continue on. That's what I thought. That's what I jot down when we were watching it. But yeah, so what did you think of the beginning and stuff?
Oh, I was upset that they double shot the girlfriend, and
Oh yeah,
Dylan
yeah.
O'Brien was right there, and they walked away from, like, if you're making sure everyone is dead, why didn't you make sure the guy was dead? You have something against women? I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Why shoot the girl twice?
Twice, yeah.
That was my big gripe about the beginning.
The beginning, yeah.
Yeah, and I felt like I didn't feel like he was trying to, you know, like, avenge his girlfriend or whatever. I felt like he was being like a sociopath.
Yeah.
You know? Like it
yeah.
like totally like cleared his mind, and all he could think about was killing because he saw
Just
so
killing,
much of it on that
yeah.
beach.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I also thought when like after the beginning part when he has like a beard and everything.
I hated it.
I didn't
hated
like the beard.
I didn't like that it took him being taken in by the government to get it shaven.
Yeah.
Like, if you are doing better and going to the gym, you can shave your beard.
You can shave your beard.
Okay.
What I wrote down when he was on the computer, he put like his keypad protector and then he started typing, which makes sense, like if you're like doing this sketchy stuff and whatnot and you don't want your fingerprints to, but like what if they find that and they're like, oh cool, I could just, you know, like get his fingerprints there.
You're right. I don't know, maybe that kind of stuff doesn't leave fingerprints.
Maybe. But yeah, and then I thought also angry boy, very angry boy, and like American pride.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that I got out of this. I didn't write that much of this because I was like trying to focus on it, but then he shaves. That goes back to when you're saying when he finally goes into the training and stuff. He finally shaves.
Oh, I liked the AR training.
Yeah,
I thought that was
the AR
cool.
training, I thought that was cool. That was very like, damn, like imagine getting shocked so many times and like, ugh. And like seeing like one of them like throw up too. Like I was just like,
yeah, I'm like that's
Yeah.
really intense.
Because
Training, because it's not death, but it's
like
it really puts you in the mindset of like, I'm getting hurt.
Yeah. Because like I
this.
have like physically been like hurt so bad that like it made me want to throw up. So it's just like seeing that, I was just like, oh my god, that person must be in really, really bad pain. But yeah, I was like, ooh. Oh, this one, well, before I say that, I put he's good, but he's a hothead. So he's like one of those like good, like he knows what he's doing. I put don't make it personal, but a lot of all this stuff that's been happening was personal.
Yeah. I feel like the whole point of the movie was it's okay to make it personal.
I also put, this is what we were talking about when we were watching the movie. I was like, good thing that they didn't have sex.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's like a girl,
That's
like
true.
she's like another operative part of like their team, and like there were so many times where like we thought they were gonna kiss or like do it or something, and like we were just like, no, the whole time. But because it just, like you were saying, it just felt out of place for that to happen. Like
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's why they made it kind of like seductive, is to like lead you on and make you think. To add on to your like little hero kind of trope, I thought it was, you know, like he's good but he's a hothead. That he is like so unnaturally good for being an amateur. Like an amateur, what is he supposed to be? Like bounty hunter?
Yeah.
I don't know. I forgot. I forgot what they made him. But yeah, or spy. It felt like he was way too good for beyond like a normal person. Like he picked it up so fast. Which is like a very hero trope thing to do, is that like, oh, your main character is unbelievably good with no training, no real practice. There's just like this natural talent. He was way too good, and I didn't. I didn't. I felt like he didn't fail at anything.
I felt like he didn't fail. The only thing that he really failed was like not being too aggressive or whatever, or like following the rules. So.
Yeah, he couldn't follow rules. He was always good at everything.
Yeah, I was like, that's the thing that kind of like throws me off. Like, if they're too good, if there's no like, you know, pull back to the thing, like the hero's journey of like, there's gonna be like obstacles and like the forces of an antagonism being you physically not being able to do certain things that are like, you know, but I just thought. I thought the same, Nade. It was just like, that's what made me kind of just like roll my eyes every time he did something. But yeah. So the next thing I have is the bad guy knows Michael Keaton's character.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what?
Yeah, the bad guy knows Michael Keaton's character.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
But, so that's what I have, because I was just like, and then he was saying, it was funny because like he was calling the bad guy was calling Michael Keaton's character, like when they were fighting at the end, when the bad guy and Dylan O'Brien were fighting, and he was like, "You're my brother and our dad basically made us like this." I was like, what? Like, I didn't know this was like a daddy thing. Like, I was like, okay.
Dude, okay, so I wrote, this is Michael Keaton's dad redemption story. because I was like, oh, like the bad guy is who Mitch, Dylan O'Brien's character, could be. But like, oh, he won't be like that because it's like the second time around. Like Michael Keaton's not gonna let that shit fly.
That's what I thought. I was like,
dad redemption.
I legit was like, oh my god, did he just really say that? Like, oh man. And then
who wrote that line?
I know. But then the last thing I put was, oh yeah, this is what we talked about. This was like one of the things where like, I didn't like this kind of action movie for Dylan O'Brien. Yeah. Right. I thought, like, because of just seeing him in like comedic roles and stuff, I felt like he did better in like the Maze Runner series, because it was he could be, I don't know, I only watched the Maze Runner, which is like I was saying, I felt like this is not the kind of action movie I want to see Dylan O'Brien. I felt like,
yeah, he needs something a little more lighthearted. I mean,
the Maze Runner is not that lighthearted, but
did you see my face go blank right now? Well, a little more comedy, I guess, because there was enough to break it up in Maze Runner.
Yeah.
Oh god, I can't even remember right now. But it just felt, maybe it's the genre, because it's like a YA novel, so
true.
It was a little bit more. It was lighter than American Assassin. So, yeah, I think that this wasn't his movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was so
it was good. Okay. Yeah, it was
like, I was really convinced, because Dylan O'Brien's great, and I hated him
exactly
in this movie. So he was
if
good.
he's able to convince me to feel something, then okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Okay, the next movie we have is The Pianist. The Pianist.
And this is the movie that I chose because, well, I chose it personally because I watched it a long time ago and then wanted to rewatch, but then found out that Jelly also watched it a long time ago. Which, I mean, you watch everything, so
I
of
watched it
course
before.
you watched this one.
Hey, no, I didn't watch American
but I
Assassin,
also-
so that was like my first time viewing. So
Oh yeah. It was, we both didn't watch before. Okay. So the summary for the pianist, or the pianist, which is apparently the
I don't know. I feel pianist sounds correct to me.
Pianist sounds correct because it's piano.
Yeah,
But anyway, the summary. A Polish Jewish musician struggles to survive the destruction of the Warsaw ghetto of World War II. This movie was back in 2002.
2002.
So,
I was 6.
We were 7 and 6 when that came out. So I upon watching this again, I feel like I didn't watch it. I feel like I never watched it before. Like, I remember scenes, but my brain was like, I must have lied about watching it. But that's how I feel about like a lot of things that I watched when I was little. I'm like, oh my god, I remember watching this. I loved it so much. And then I'll get into it. I'm like, I only remember the first episode. Did I watch anything past that? Did I watch anything past the first 5 minutes? And then my little 5-year-old ADD brain ran off to play with toys or something. So that's how I felt about this movie. Like, I'm like, oh cool, I'm so excited to watch it again. Wait, I don't remember being this sad about everything.
Yeah, dude, this is like my 3rd time watching it. But it feels like a fever dream for the both first times. Because the first time was when I was younger, when it first came out, and then another time in high school, and then now when we watch it together. So yeah, I was like, I remember we were talking about it before, and I was saying like, oh yeah, I remember like these scenes, like you were saying, like I remember these kind of scenes, but like I wasn't too sure anymore because it's been such a long time. And then every time
you're like so convinced.
Like, yeah, I know this. And then I didn't really. I was right about the ending part about the jacket. But
yeah,
everything else,
got one.
Got one out of the many scenes I claim to know. So what I put for this is that I love that the action starts right away. So I liked how it's him playing the piano, and then right there, like all the action, the explosion starts happening and stuff. So it doesn't lead with the, like the typical like slow start introduction to everyone. It starts action and then to everyone, if that makes sense. So I really like that because it shows how like the movie, just the feel of it, like how everything just happens like without warning and stuff. So that's what I put for the beginning.
I really liked, I guess this is more in general throughout the whole movie, but just that we see the progression of the way that they are living. I specifically in the beginning, I wrote that it's easy to forget that wartime still looks, for the most part, normal inside the house. Like they're talking about the war and stuff, and they're like discussing how they're gonna live, but they still are in their nice home. It doesn't immediately go to ruins. Which is so easy to forget when you're watching a bunch of war movies and everything.
I like how that progressive like setting as well. So I like how you were saying, like it didn't like right away. It was like in ruins, like how most like movies that involve like war and stuff already have. I thought it was nice that you can, when he's still trying to like, when he was talking to that girl, like you can still see like everything is still like intact, like nice and everything, and then slowly you can just see like the little changes where like they started putting signs for like, oh no Jews allowed and stuff in restaurants, and then it just started looking like empty, and like it just, that progression was nice. So what I put was I like the family dynamic. It made the family moments more sad I think how when they kept on moving, or like when they were worried about each other and stuff, it was just nice to see. Well, it wasn't nice to see that they were like you know what I mean, like they were like
nice despite everything.
like they were still, as even though like they would fight and stuff, they were still together and stuff. So that's what I liked.
I liked the when they moved when they first move into the ghetto, and it's like nighttime, and then these Nazis come in, and they get scared because they're like, oh, like turn off the lights, like we gotta like hide like, or not be assuming, and they look out the window, and then from then on it's like their perspective, and they see that the guards go into the building across the street, they go upstairs and they raid a family, and then they just toss like the old
because he couldn't stand up,
like degenerate, or I forgot what they said in the movie, but they threw him out the window. But I appreciated, I'm trying to like be careful with words because I don't want to say I liked it. But I appreciated that it was a third person perspective, and that they were looking at another family, because clearly not everything is going to happen to them. Like there's so much that happens in these ghettos, and it's unrealistic to make a movie of this family going through like anything you can imagine, because that wouldn't happen. Like there's many families having different types of terrible things happening to them. So I appreciated sorry, but I appreciated that it was showing that the other experiences of other people, but through their eyes. So it wasn't like, you know, a cutaway to like, oh, this family doing this other thing or whatever.
It was
like,
still on them.
It was still their world.
No, I thought that was like a good choice to like show, even if it's still in their perspective, you kind of get the, like you were saying, the secondary perspective of this family through someone else's eyes. And I thought that was very effective as well. I felt like that was just like, because you're so invested in their family right now, that like seeing something different that changes them is just like whoa, like it makes you feel like that like unease of like, oh my god, like. So yeah, it was just very effective, just the decision to do it in that style instead of the typical cut to the family or in the actual like other person's house and like seeing it happen. So I thought, so I agree what you were saying and stuff. I also was like, it reminded me during like war times, like how you can put your own people against you. So like the whole like the Jewish police people, I was just thinking like how like, you know, as much as like I'm pretty sure they felt like safe, it kind of hurts because like these are their people, these are like the families they knew, this is like the friends they knew, but they're doing these harsh things to them because it helps them keep their family safe and like themselves safe. And it's just like, it makes me remember like how depressing this time was for a lot of people. So
I mean, and then on top of that, because I think this was the same scene, but on top of like the whole police thing going on, that's when it like cut back to the old guy who was like trying to like raise spirits with the kids, and so he was going around singing, and he was just trying to be like nice to. Oh, I guess they were Nazis at that point. But he was just trying to be nice, you know, like to just have like a positive outlook. And then right next to that, you see like a lady like carrying her food, and it gets knocked. The guy tries to steal it. It gets knocked over, and he literally eats it from the muddy ground. Like there's so much. There's so many different types of people like trying to like all handle it in very different ways.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I put also for that, after that, I put brotherly love. I felt like I like that kind of certain dynamic sometimes where like one brother is like more like, I wouldn't say annoying, but like very high strung, and then the other brother is kind of, or like the sibling is more trying to be like proper and calm and stuff. And like they always like bicker, and then there's always those moments where like they rely on each other. So like when the younger, I don't remember their names. I think it's is it Hen? No. But anyways,
I don't remember. I know it's Vladek.
But
I don't remember the.
But yeah, and then he like collapses and he's like, oh, are you okay? And then he says like, oh, I'm hungry, and then he takes him to his like work and stuff. Yeah. So I like those moments. Like it shows how like realistic like their family dynamic is, and then when they're moving, when the main character, our boy Adrian Brody's character, he tells his youngest sibling like, oh, I wish I knew you better, and like that got me. I was just like,
so sad.
Oh my god. But that really got me. One more thing I have is that well, I have multiple, but the one that goes with this thread was the caramel scene. I thought that was just nice.
I remember it, so that's one of the scenes where
that was like really, one of the one I remembered, but I was like wasn't sure, and like I didn't say anything. But
well, good, don't say anything.
Spoiler for each other, for our early 20s minds. But yeah, so I thought that was really nice, even though it was like, it reminded me of like, oh, enjoy like the little things and stuff. So yeah, that's what I have. So
I guess around the same point I had written that it all happened so fast. Like I didn't, we learned about it in high school and stuff, but watching the movie, like it just made me like realize how fast that stuff was happening, because I think it was 2 or 3 years that like the time period from like when they first go to the ghetto to like the new one, or when they get split up. But it was like quick, and the walls that they built and like all the stuff that they were doing, like like a lot of shit happened in a couple years. Like I'm trying to think of like what 2 years ago looked like for me, and like the type of difference, and I did not make any type of progress like that in 2 years. Like that's crazy.
That was like a more than 12-hour shifts probably every day for 2 years. Like that's crazy. But yeah, that's, and then other things that I have that like for some reason I put the hatred sucks. I don't know what I was thinking when I put that. It doesn't even make sense to me. Besides that, I put Old Flame is married and having a baby, and then I said a piano. And
I'm trying to remember. I was trying to also think.
Then the last point I have is the transformation when there is no more hope. So I think that was when he was in like the ruins, and like he was just trying.
When he ran.
So. Yeah. But yeah, when he was playing, when I felt that when he was playing the piano, but like not really touching it, so he remembers like the notes and stuff, and like the hand movements and stuff. So I was just like, wow, I'm emo. But yeah, but those are the points I had for that movie. Yeah, transformation when there's no more hope. That's the last thing I had. Just when he was in like the ruins, and you can just see his like his mentality was just like going low. Like him, trying to survive now that there's like officially no one there to help him anymore. So
yeah, so I guess the thing that I have that's around that same point was that I was just kind of acknowledging that our like grandmas and aunts and uncles were alive when this was happening, and it's like halfway across the world. So and then our family like grew up in the province, so like I wonder how much news got out, like I wonder how much they like knew and like were aware that this stuff was happening. So that was happening to them, but like I remember what mostly got them was when the Japanese and stuff. But this is in the beginning. So
but
like, you know, like this is all happening before it gets to that level, like where it's like all on their side. So like I'm just like what
curious like what they were experienced.
Exactly. Because it's not they're not war territory. You know, because even when it happens, they're not war. They don't have like this, you know, this stuff. So I'm
exactly.
That like, you know. Anyway. Oh, I thought it was interesting that he kept on getting apartments, like whole places to live, to be in hiding, you know, because so many stories is like people hiding in walls and like behind bookcases. And I thought it was crazy that he was getting these
like these big, well not big, but like big bigger than usual places to like hide out. I was thinking that too. I was like, because we hear all these stories of like people living in the attic and like cupboards and stuff like that, and it's just like, and it just, I think because he had connections, because I think I think it revolves in like, I don't know, it felt like it was more of like that one of things, like if you know someone, then I get it. And plus he was very like, he was pretty well known. He was like, he was popular and stuff because he was on the radio too, so like, so I felt like, I wouldn't say like he was getting better treatment,
but he was getting
than what some other people and during that time and stuff. So
wow, it's so sad that he's stuck in his apartment every day because they locked him in, but I haven't left my bed in weeks, so I can't complain.
You can't complain. Oh man. Yeah, that part sucked. I was like, why is this woman like, why is she like this? Why, she could have just went her merry way and stuff. Pretend she didn't know that he was there. I don't know. I feel like back then, like the mentality was just, it's like that thing, like you just can't understand because you weren't there type thing. So, but it was just crazy to think how quickly people were like ready to like
be racist.
To like, I mean, it's like this now, but not as like bad. Well, situational, it's bad. But anyways, it just reminds you of like how quick people can be when it comes to like race and stuff, and like feeling like, oh, you're better than, I'm better than you or something. So, but yeah, it's crazy. This movie, it made me so emo after watching it. I was just like rethinking my whole life.
I put that like he's so alone, right? Like so much, there's so much like ruins, and he's just like, this after he like runs away from when they were setting off all the like the flamethrowers and stuff, and then he escapes back to the ruins. But I just think it's crazy that there's like this big nothing. Like there's gotta be somebody else hiding, right? Like you can't be the only one just hiding. But you know, it's still extremely lonely, because I mean it would be so dangerous if there's more than one of you, right? And you're more likely to get found. But I don't know, I was like,
it was kind of like 1917, the ruins part where he like jumps into that basement and like there's
and then
people.
Exactly, like there's not everybody is being like brave or stupid, like just walking around this like empty space. Everyone's holed up somewhere.
But it's kind of, it's scary, like just being by yourself somewhere, like you know that, like, I don't know, it's like one of those things where like people, like, you know how like people explore abandoned places and stuff, and then you find out that you're not alone. But I thought that was like, it's very haunting.
Yes, haunting.
Do you have any more?
I mean, Well, that's pretty much it. Well, okay, one point. Maybe it's funny.
Yeah.
When the Nazi showed up at the very end, I was like, oh no, why am I like kind of attracted to him? Because I was like, he's kind of handsome, and then he like ended up being nice, and I was like, oh thank God, that's why he like looks good.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's that on that. That's it. That's all I
He
know.
He was a nice Nazi. That's why he was attractive. That's why they picked him to play the guy.
Exactly.
They wanted us to be like, wow, he's attractive, but also, wow, he's nice, he's helping him. But yeah.
I didn't know that it was based on a true story.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Like, I'm pretty sure we did from the previous times we watched it, but like,
watching it now,
this
I was
reminded
like,
us, we're like, oh.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Yeah, so that's the end. So this is our ranking scale time. Let's do this. Okay, so, okay, let's go with you first, Nade. What is your? I'm pretty sure.
I think we have the same.
I feel like ours are the same scale.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
So Snowpiercer.
Good.
American Assassin.
Bad.
The Pianist or the Pianist.
Boba.
Boba. There you go, guys. I know.
But yeah,
Perfect.
I'm glad that we
That's
had the same opinion. That won't happen all the time, but
yeah,
that worked out.
This is like, yeah, the three choices that we picked that we did have similar taste in. But we'll see the next time when I
know. You're gonna pick something. Don't give me all horror movies. I'll be like bad.
No, I have. Yeah, our scale's gonna have 4 this time. It's gonna be crying, good, bad, and boba. So, but yeah, thank you guys for watching our video.
Let us know if you watched it, any of these movies, what you think about them, and if you think it's good, bad, or boba.
Yep. Please make sure to like our video, subscribe if you're interested, and we also, our socials are down below. So have a good week, guys. Until next time.
Bye.